All right, so kind of just talk about your main parts of the book.
Okay, kind of what it consists of?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a devotional. It's on 7 different subjects, and the subjects include faith, love, beauty, confidence, perseverance, positivity, and radiance. And kind of how the book is set up, so you know the saying, like, it takes 21 days to form a habit. So each subject has 21 write-ups, so that for 21 days, or for 21 write-ups, you're focusing on those different, like, subjects. So 21 days is faith, 21 days is love. But some people are, like, reading them, a lot of them in, like, one day, which is fine. So it's just kind of whatever people make it, but yeah.
Perfect. And then what was kind of your reasoning behind writing a book and getting it published, obviously?
Well, it really has evolved from when it started, because originally it was supposed to be like a book where I would sell them. People would fill it out and write, like, encouraging messages to the children at the hospital, and then it would get sent back to them. But there's a lot of complexity with that, and I think while that's something I want to tackle in the future, I think this was more realistic for me as my first book, and it's always been on my bucket list. So yeah, that's kind of why I started it and everything. And then it kind of led into my blogs that I do now on the website and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah.
And then, so you're a junior,
correct?
Right? Yep. So, and you've already kind of published your first book. So kind of, is that remarkable for you, or is this something you've always wanted to do?
I mean, you know, it honestly, it doesn't seem like it's like anything. I mean, literally, it's just a passion, and when it's a passion, it doesn't feel like it's like work. And going back to, like, my writing, I guess, when I was 13 is when I kind of started writing in journals, and so every night I'll write in a journal. And so when I started writing this book, I just found so much, like, purpose from it, and I really dove into it last summer a lot. I started it last February, but, and so, yeah, for me, it's not, like, I don't know, it's not remarkable, I guess. It's just something that is a passion, so I just went for it.
Okay. And then how did you kind of get your start in writing?
Definitely the journals. When I was 13, that's definitely the major thing. But then I would say throughout my classes at Wartburg, it has kind of shown me what kind of style of writing I really like. And, like, with my graphic design minor, like, when I was in high school, I never did any graphic design classes, and now I'm minoring in it. And from that, I've gotten to design small little books, and I really found, like, my passion for that. And like, I got to kind of design the cover of it and everything. And so, yeah, Wartburg has definitely, I mean, I don't think I would have the book if it wasn't for this college. So.
Okay. And then kind of what are your biggest goals for your book?
Biggest goals? I mean, my tagline is inspire, uplift, enlighten. So, and I said from the very beginning, when there was times where, like, I easily kind of got discouraged of, like, who's going to buy this? And so my tagline has always been inspire, uplift, enlighten. And I've always said, and my parents keep reminding me, even if it affects one person, then it's all worth it. Same thing with the blogs. So that's pretty cool. One really cool thing that was awesome was at the beginning of this week, I released it on Sunday of, like, hey, I'm selling these books. There's on push day, I want to, like, sell, you know, at least 100 was my goal. And I, for some reason, felt so, like, discouraged and down and just, like, doubting, you know, and I don't know why I felt like that, because the books were selling, like, online, a lot of people were buying them. I just, like, didn't feel, like, fulfilled or anything. So I literally, like, prayed all on Wednesday and on Tuesday, I think it was, and I literally said, please, like, in my devotional tonight, like, help me see something that, like, really stands out and, like, speaks to me. And literally my devotional, like, I kind of want to, like, read it to you. It was literally all about, this was what it was. It said, this is the author writing it. I was recently disappointed when one of my books didn't sell as well in the marketplace as I had hoped that it would. And it goes on to, like, talk about how it's not about what she wanted, but what God wanted, and that's exactly, like, what I thought. And it ended with, when things don't work out the way you would hope that they would, trust God and keep going forward with an expectant attitude. Good things are waiting for you in the future. Which is, like, exactly what I needed to hear for push day and everything. So how did push day go for you? So my goal, like I said, was 100. I think I know I ended up with 176.
Awesome.
So yeah, met the goal. But
yeah. And then kind of, so obviously you're from Clarksville, which is one of the areas that the newspaper covers. So kind of talk about the support from, you know, your hometown and maybe even Wartburg, and then kind of also maybe, like, how growing up in Clarksville kind of, you know,
has kind of
shaped your
shaped me.
beliefs.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like the support of a small town at all. And I know it's kind of like a cliche thing, but literally, like, people know you and they recognize you, and like, people have sent me letters, like, to my home address in Clarksville that, I mean, even if they had me for a year, if they didn't even teach me in Clarksville, or like, people just sharing things on Facebook and spreading the word that way. And I mean, one guy in our hometown, I just asked him, like, hey, is there any way that you could just spread the word that I'm going to have a book signing on Friday at Pizza Ranch, which is tonight? And he immediately, like, within an hour, had it up on Facebook, and people were sharing it. And
awesome.
So, yeah, definitely, like, just the support of the people that know you just really want to see you successful. And, like, and that is so true at Wartburg. Like I said, I don't think that I would have this if it wasn't for Wartburg, just because just the resources, like the iPads, like if I couldn't, like if people can pay with credit card, then I would have not had as many sales, because people, you know, pay with credit card instead of cash now. And just like the design elements, like I was constantly getting feedback with my design. I had Bill Withers look over the whole book before I sent it in, like, so yeah, literally, I don't think I would be able to do it without the support of my town and Wartburg for sure.
And then kind of talk about Bill, kind of overlooking your book, and, you know, how he's helped you along this journey too. Yeah,
well, Bill has his own like vlog and everything, and so when I started mine up, I would go and ask him a few questions, and he's just been very supportive and very wise. And he was my first feature story, because I do monthly feature stories in my blog. He was my first one in January, because he looked over my book, and I felt like he was, like, very deserving of a story, you know? And even with my book, I said, hey, I want to get it, I have it done, I want you to look it over, and I really want to order it by next week. Is there any way that you can look over it over the weekend? So he literally went through the book in a matter of, like, a day. A day or two, and immediately got back to me with feedback, what was good, what could be improved, and yeah, he's super awesome.
Awesome. And then kind of, so obviously one of the words you just touched on was inspire. So kind of why do you want to inspire people, you know? Yeah.
I just feel like it's very easy to kind of get lost in life and not, like, just kind of go through the motions and day to day, and, like, people forget to kind of look up and start looking at the people around them and just, like, listening and learning from them. And so that's kind of like the goal of the blogs, the goal of the book. I'm not doing it for, like, money, or I actually, like, hate the recognition. Like, it's very uncomfortable for me. But just, like, to know that people have reached out, and, like, someone even told me, like, I just want to let you know, like, you have saved my life. Like, I literally was going through a terrible, like, hard time, and you saved my life. Or when someone told me, like, a couple days ago, like, I have never had a faith in my life, but reading that one blog has maybe just changed my entire life. And stuff like that is just, like, what makes it all, like, worth it. And what really, like, even digs deeper with my passion to inspire, I'd say.
Okay. And then kind of, who was your inspiration, you know, like, through this whole process? Who did you kind of look up to, or, you know, there were certain friends that kind of stuck out, you know, to you, or?
Yeah. I mean, my friends have been phenomenal. My family, like, my mom and dad have been so great, because Lord knows, like, I can get worked up sometimes when I am like, oh my gosh, is this going to be successful? Whatever. But I think my strongest thing that has inspired me and kept me going is my faith, because even when I am discouraged or down or doubting myself, I have to realize that it's not about me. It's like not about what I want to see for myself, but what he sees in me.
Yep.
So I just have to keep reminding myself that it's not about me. It's about him.
For sure. And then, so Bound Blessings, how did you kind of settle upon that name?
So I remember I was pondering in my dorm room last year, and I was trying to come up with an idea for this book that I had an idea for. And so I remember I just, like, was laying in bed about to take a nap, and then I thought of a bunch of different names, but Bound Blessings stuck out to me, because it's like, okay, these blessings blessings are bound in this book, but the blessings are bound to happen to those who read it. So that's kind of how it stuck. And actually the idea for the book came in the shower. So
interesting.
That's where that idea started. But
and then, what do you want people to know about your book, first and foremost?
First and foremost, first of all, it's helping the kids at the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. 50% of all the proceeds go to the kids there. And that could mean a parking pass for a family to stay with their kid or a meal at the hospital. But as far as content goes, it's really a book that is true and like as real and genuine as I could make it, and it's stuff that just comes from the heart. And so I think it's the write-ups in there are definitely things that could impact you in your day-to-day life, and it's for guys, girls, like really kids of all ages. So
okay. And then why did you want to have a connection to the Children's Hospital with your book?
So yeah, my freshman year I did dance marathon. I had no idea, I'd never heard of it before, and so I was a dancer. And then last year I decided to do morale captain, where I recruited, which was really awesome and I loved it. And then this year I decided to do exec, and I just have had family members and friends that have had to deal with illnesses and sicknesses. And growing up, when I would do my volunteer work, like I would go to the Ronald McDonald House and see the families there, and I just like have such a big heart and passion for what those families go through. And so I just wanted to help out in any possible way, just so those kids feel like they're special and that people are fighting for them too while they're trying to fight for themselves. So
yeah. And then do you have anything else you want to say about your book or this whole journey or anything? When is this going? This will come out Tuesday.
Okay. Just that even when Dance Marathon's over on Saturday, the proceeds is still going to go towards the hospital for next year. I mean, next year's Dance Marathon. So I want to keep selling after. And I would just say the website, www.boundblessings.com.
Okay.
That would be something I would want people to continue to look at, because I started it in January, and it's like so cool because people have reached out to me and say like, I have relatives in Tennessee and Alabama that like shared your stuff and bought your book, because it just kind of went viral. A couple of the posts did. So yeah, like I started in January, and the page views on the website are up to I think like almost 1.4 million. Just because people, and like that's the support of like Wartburg in the small town. It's just people like, oh my gosh, I know her, like, and then so they take the time to read it. Yeah.
And so kind of looking back on that, is that, you know, did you think you'd reach people in Tennessee or anybody with this?
I knew it was a leap of faith, and I know, I mean, and most of the comments have been awesome and positive, but I mean there's always going to be people that don't agree with it or that don't necessarily like care to see it, and I struggle with people pleasing, so I just have to work through it and understand that those people are still being like exposed to the content. So maybe even if they take the time and read it and don't like it, maybe they'll reflect on it later. Maybe it'll impact them in some way.
Yeah. And then so how many books did you like, how does that work? You know, you print so many books, or kind of talk about that process maybe.
Yeah. That's like where Wartburg College has been so phenomenal, because when I had the idea last year, I went to Dean Kittle and I said, hey, like I really want to write a book. Is there any way that we would have some sort of seed funding so I can buy print books? Because if I bought the number of print books I wanted, it would literally wipe out my whole savings and I would have nothing. And he's like, I think that would be a possibility, but come back when the book is done and we'll talk. So I set up a meeting with him like a few weeks ago, and literally the day before I was supposed to go meet with him, my book came in, so it was perfect. So I was able to show him the book, and then he agreed to order 470 books. Okay. So right now I have 470 print books, and then I had to figure out then the online orders, how that kind of works, and I was able to connect it with the website and stuff, so that worked out really well for people that aren't around aren't around the area. But yeah, so now I've sold almost, from Sunday until now, I've sold about almost 300.
Awesome.
So, but that's with online and print.
Okay.
But I still have a couple hundred print books left.
Okay.
So.
And then kind of talk about like, you know, getting like the online orders. Are you, you know, if somebody orders the book, are you the one that sends it out to them, or?
No. So if you go online on the book tab of my website, there's an image of the book, and then there's a little write-up of what it is about, and it says click on the image to buy a book. So all you do is click on the picture. It takes you to a website called Lulu.
Okay.
And then it shows you the price, and then your expectant like shipping date, and it, you can enter a credit card, and then they'll ship it right to your door. But with that, like Lulu takes 20% because of all that, because I wouldn't have time to like do all the shipping and stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of how that online orders work. But
perfect. Do you have anything else, or is that pretty much it?
So. I think that's it.
All right.
Thank